India's journey from a predominantly import-dependent nation to an emerging player in the global defense market is a compelling story of policy evolution, strategic vision, and economic ambition. The period before and after 2014 marks a significant turning point in India's defense export growth, shaped by the policies of two distinct governments: the United Progressive Alliance, UPA, from 2004 to 2014, and the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, led National Democratic Alliance, NDA, from 2014 onward. This narrative explores the trajectory of India's military exports, the policies that fueled this growth, and an assessment of which government's approach proved more effective. First, we discuss the UPA era, 2004-2014, on laying the foundation. During the UPA's tenure from 2004 to 2014, India's defense sector was characterized by heavy reliance on imports, with the country accounting for a significant share of global arms imports. Defense exports during this period were modest, totaling Rs 4,312 crore over the decade, with an annual figure of Rs 686 crore in FY 2013-14. The UPA government operated in a post-1991 economic liberalization framework, which began dismantling the restrictive license Raj and opened up sectors like defense to limited foreign direct investment, FDI. In 2005, the UPA liberalized FDI policies, allowing up to 100% foreign investment in certain ventures, including defense, which facilitated access to foreign technology and laid the groundwork for private sector participation. The UPA's policies emphasized industrial liberalization, reducing licensing requirements and encouraging foreign collaborations. These reforms, while primarily aimed at boosting the broader economy, had a trickle-down effect on the defense sector. The establishment of joint ventures with foreign companies and the gradual inclusion of private players, such as Tata Advanced Systems, marked the early stages of a burgeoning military-industrial complex. However, the defense sector remained dominated by state-owned defense public sector undertakings, DPSUs, and exports were limited due to bureaucratic inefficiencies, a lack of robust export promotion policies, and a focus on meeting domestic needs. Despite these constraints, the UPA's economic reforms, including those from the 1991 liberalization, contributed to incremental improvements in industrial productivity and R&D. The period saw the beginning of India's shift toward indigenous production, with organizations like the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, working on projects such as the Akash missile system and the Light Combat Aircraft, LCA, Tejas. These efforts, while not immediately translating into significant exports, set the stage for future growth by fostering technological capabilities. Now we check out the BJP era, 2014-present, on a surge towards self-reliance. The election of the BJP-led NDA government in 2014, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, marked a paradigm shift in India's defense strategy. The flagship Make in India initiative, launched in 2014, prioritized indigenous manufacturing and positioned India as a potential defense production hub. This period witnessed an unprecedented surge in defense exports, rising from Rs 686 crore in FY 2013-14 to Rs 23,622 crore in FY 2024-25, a remarkable 34-fold increase. Between 2014 and 2024, cumulative exports reached Rs 88,319 crore, a 21-fold increase over the UPA's decade-long total. The BJP government introduced a slew of policy reforms to bolster defense exports. The Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy, DPEPP 2020, set ambitious targets, aiming for Rs 35,000 crore in exports by 2025 and Rs 50,000 crore by 2029. Key measures included simplifying industrial licensing, removing parts and components from licensing regimes, and introducing the Open General Export License, OGUL, to streamline export authorizations. The establishment of a dedicated digital portal for export authorizations saw 1,762 permits issued in FY 2024-25, a 16.92% increase from the previous year. The number of defense exporters also grew by 17.4%, reflecting a broader and more competitive ecosystem. The BJP's policies also encourage private sector participation, with private firms contributing Rs 15,233 crore, 60% to FY 2024-25 exports, while DPSUs accounted for Rs 389 crore, 40%. Initiatives like Innovations for Defense Excellence (IDEX) fostered collaboration with startups, academia, and R&D institutions, driving innovation in areas like AI, drones, and cyber warfare. The establishment of 2 defense industrial corridors in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu further catalyzed manufacturing growth. India's export portfolio expanded to include advanced systems like BrahMos missiles, Dornier Tu-28 aircraft, Chetak helicopters, and Pinaka rocket launchers, reaching over 100 countries, with the USA, France, and Armenia as top buyers. The BJP's Atmanirbhar Bharat, Self-Reliant India campaign emphasized reducing import dependency, with 75% of the modernization budget allocated to domestic procurement in FY 2022-23. This focus not only strengthened domestic production, but also enhanced the global competitiveness of Indian defense products. The government's diplomatic efforts, including leveraging embassies and lines of credit from the Exim Bank, further boosted export deals in regions like Southeast Asia and South America. Comparing UPA and BJP contributions, the UPA's contribution to defense exports was foundational but limited by its scope and execution. Its liberalization policies and early encouragement of private sector involvement created an environment where the defense industry could begin to grow. However, the lack of a targeted export promotion strategy, coupled with bureaucratic inertia, meant that exports remained negligible, with India heavily reliant on imports. In contrast, the BJP's aggressive policy reforms, strategic vision, and focus on self-reliance transformed India's defense sector. The exponential growth in exports post-2014, rising from Rs 1,521 crore in FY 2016-17 to Rs 21,083 crore in FY 2023-24 and Rs 23,722 crore in FY 2024-25, demonstrates the impact of these reforms. The BJP's emphasis on private sector participation, streamlined export processes, and global marketing through defense expos and diplomacy significantly outpaced the UPA's incremental approach. The 42.85% increase in DPSU exports in FY 2024-25 and the growing role of private firms underscore the success of these policies. So, the question is, which government did it better? While the UPA laid critical groundwork through economic liberalization and early private sector engagement, the BJP's policies were far more effective in driving defense export growth. The UPA's reforms were broad and not specifically tailored to defense exports, resulting in modest growth. The BJP, however, implemented targeted export-focused policies backed by a clear vision of self-reliance and global competitiveness. The 34-fold export increase since 2013-14, coupled with India's emergence as a supplier to over 100 countries, highlights the BJP's superior impact. The UPA's contributions were necessary stepping stones, but the BJP's bold reforms and proactive approach have positioned India as a rising star in the global defense market. Let's look to India's bright future. India's defense export growth is a story of transformation, from a nation dependent on foreign arms to one aspiring to be a global defense manufacturing hub. The UPA's policies provided a foundation, but the BJP's Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives have propelled India into a new era of self-reliance and global relevance. As India aims for 50,000 crore in exports by 2029, the synergy between policy, industry, and diplomacy will continue to shape its ascent in the global defense arena.